ladies and gentlemen, we are almost in the season of the Royal Rumble. 2026 is upon us, and today we go over for the women's division who will be the Royal Rumble winner in Saudi Arabia. There's a lot of different options. I think the women's Royal Rumble is harder than the men's Royal Rumble. I will make a video on the men's Royal Rumble, but there's only one person I truly think will win the men's Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. The women are a little different, and we got a lot of different options, and we can go a lot of different ways. So I thought, why don't we delve into this? If you guys are watching this video, also want to give you guys a belated Merry Christmas and an early Happy New Year as we are kicking things off in 2026. We got a big Monday Night Raw, January 5th, Braun Breaker versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. We got big things going on, big things we're dealing with. If you like this channel, if you like these videos, if you really want to argue and talk about wrestling in a positive way and fantasy book and things like that, please subscribe to your boy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we talk about wrestling like we actually have lives over here. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, the first person we're going to kick things off with on who could win the women's 2026 Royal Rumble is no other than mommy Rhea Ripley. I think if fans saw Rhea Ripley win the Royal Rumble, I truly think fans would turn on Rhea Ripley. I truly believe people would boo the shit out of Rhea Ripley if she won the Royal Rumble. She's always a good case. You can always make a good case. She is probably the biggest star in the women's division. I feel like you can't go wrong with Rhea Ripley. I just feel like you can't go wrong. But then you run into that question of Rhea Ripley versus who? Could this be a main event match? I don't know yet. Could Rhea Ripley versus Stephanie Vaquer be WrestleMania worthy? It's possible. Could you do Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill? That's very possible. And that's a big match, especially with Bianca Belair, who is injured and who I did leave out of this video because I know she has a really nasty finger injury. So I make sure to leave her out. I only use the women who are on the active roster currently today. So Rhea Ripley versus Jade would be a really big Philly that would give the women's division a boost of superstardom that is desperately needed. So Rhea Ripley could win, and I do believe if Rhea Ripley wins the Royal Rumble, she would have to face Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Championship. Next person that we're going to talk about is kind of a long shot. But hey, I've seen stranger things. Nikki Bella. Could Nikki Bella win the Royal Rumble? It's kind of a long shot. I highly doubt it. But this new heel Nikki, she wants her respect. And if you really want to add somebody and give them nuclear heat and really piss people off, I think Nikki Bella could do it. Charlotte Flair won the Royal Rumble last year, and she got booed and treated so badly for winning the Royal Rumble. Nobody wanted to see Charlotte Flair on top anymore, even though, in my opinion, she's the greatest of all time. Could we see Nikki? But the difference between Charlotte and Nikki, excuse my French, Nikki don't give a fuck, okay? Like, Nikki would embrace that heat, and she would embrace people booing the shit out of her. Nikki's so used to people talking shit about her whole career. So, like, could Nikki Bella win the Royal Rumble, get booed the moment she puts her feet back on the States, and challenge maybe Stephanie Vaquer again or Jade for the women's world championships? Possible. It's possible. Is it likely? No. Is it a long shot? Yes. But that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about those long shots that could possibly happen. So I as a fan of Nikki Bella, as a more of a new fan, to be honest with you, as a newer fan of Nikki Bella, I thought, why not give her a shot and see where she runs with it? Because she is one of the biggest names publicly known outside of wrestling in WWE today. So, could Nikki get her final run with a title? Maybe. Next on the list, we are going to talk about the prodigy Roxanne Perez. Now, hear me out, okay? Hear me out. If you're looking for Liv Morgan, She's not on this list. Why? Because Liv Morgan would be the obvious choice. Could be a very obvious choice to win the Women's Royal Rumble. But I don't think if Liv Morgan doesn't win the Royal Rumble, wouldn't be surprised if Roxanne wins the Royal Rumble, fights Stephanie Vaquera at WrestleMania, and then you build to a Liv Roxanne feud. Could you look at the Judgment Day and could Liv win the Royal Rumble? Yes. But Liv, in my opinion, would have to win the Royal Rumble and go babyface. There's no Rhea Ripley feud with her here, so that feud is over. So we're off of the Liv Morgan revenge tour. So do we really want to see Liv versus Stephanie and Liv just being a normal heel? I don't know. Some people may not want to see that. If y'all want to see that, okay. But for me, nah. I think it would be very interesting, as Roxanne was the number 2 runner-up last year to Charlotte Flair. I feel like it would be very cool, very interesting to see Roxanne throw Liv Morgan out of the Royal Rumble. That would be crazy if Roxanne threw Liv out of the Royal Rumble, got Raquel out the Royal Rumble, and Roxanne went on to win the Royal Rumble, and to cause that fake, like, oh, I'm happy for you, I'm so happy for you. Roxanne wins the title, and then you start that feud. You start to plant those seeds and finally build to something that's going to be explosive in the Judgment Day. I think it would work. So, the prodigy Roxanne Perez, I feel like would be a very cool idea to see win the Women's Royal Rumble in 2026. I feel like it would be dope. And more importantly, it would feel so fresh, and something brand new. It would be a jolt to the women's division that is desperately needed. Next on the list, we have to include her. Come on now, Io Sky. In my opinion, Io Sky is the best women's wrestler on the motherfucking planet, okay? Like, Io Sky is just different. Could Io Sky win the Women's Royal Rumble? You're damn right she could. Io is just a baller. It is the way it is. Could I see Io coming out at maybe 1, Rhea coming out at 2? I could see that. Could they do maybe a throwback to Royal Rumble 2007? It's possible. With Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, could you do that with Io and Rhea as the last 2? That's very possible. Io Sky, I will never bet against Io Sky because that's how much of a baller she really is, and she is just an absolute dog. Shout out to Io Sky. She had to make my list because there's so much things she can do. Like, we can get her off of this Asuka Kairi Sane thing at the drop of a dime, but I do think her and Rhea will be tag team champions probably at WrestleMania. So, next on the list is Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch, you can always make a great case for Becky Lynch because, like, her heel run and what she's done to elevate that Intercontinental title that she is holding has been amazing. Now, Becky Lynch is probably going to face AJ Lee at WrestleMania. Sign me up for that. I am all for AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. But hear me out though. Becky being in the world title picture would make that world title more meaningful. Stephanie Vaquera is a dog. She can ball. She is a one hell of a wrestler. But the storylines that they're giving her aren't cooking. They're not giving her anything for us to really notice or care about the women's world title. And a lot of it probably has to do with that she doesn't defend it that often. There hasn't really been somebody who can really put fire under that belt in the chase. So with Becky can do that. Especially this Becky run as a heel that I've genuinely loved. Becky Lynch is another one who could be a long shot to win the Women's Rumble. But I would not be surprised. But in reality, I think we all know it's going to be Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee at WrestleMania 42. Next on the list, come on now. You know we have to talk about it, right? It's Tiffy time, okay? Tiffany Stratton. You know the babes is returning soon, right? We all know she's coming back. And she's going to be gunning for Jade. She could be gunning for whoever's women's world champion by WrestleMania. Tiffany Stratton, I think, could be your women's Royal Rumble winner. And I think she could do it even better if she comes back as a heel. If she comes back playing no games, no Mrs. Nice Girl, and she just starts balling on people, I think Tiffany Stratton could be your women's Royal Rumble winner. I just think she needs the right place, the right footing, the right person to bring that out of her. And I think her as your Women's Royal Rumble winner would be absolutely special. I'm biased. Y'all know Tiffany's my favorite. I don't give a damn. If you're asking me today, would I root for Tiffany Stratton to win the Women's Royal Rumble? You're damn right I do. Just saying. We got options here, okay? We got options. And I would love to see Miss Tiffy Time back on top. And finally, see, this final spot was very interesting, okay? I could have went in a lot of different directions with this one, but I wanted to pick somebody who would be different. When you look at 2021, I don't think a sole guest Bianca Belair would win the Royal Rumble. She was freshly brand new on the women's roster. It shocked everyone when she won the Royal Rumble, which was dope, and I loved it. Could we do the same here? If you really want to go with shock and awe, but on top of that, if you really want to do something that would build immediate buzz and build a superstar in a blink of an eye, it would be Soul Ruca. Now, this is the long shots of long shots, okay? But hear your boy out. If Soul Ruca won the Women's Royal Rumble, we all would be like, what the fuck? We all would pop like regular humans because there would be no dirt sheet, no online source who would call that Soul Ruca would win the Women's Royal Rumble. It would be something so new, so refreshing, and so different if she won the Women's Royal Rumble. I would love it because we would have to be like, damn, what are we going to see next? This is different. Because it would be really cool. Honestly, it would be really cool to see somebody who wasn't in the WrestleMania promo win the Royal Rumble. Someone who isn't in that promo win the Royal Rumble would be very fire. Because it would even stick to the theme of WrestleMania. It's anyone's game. Is Soul Ruca with the Women's Royal Rumble? It'd be kind of hard. I ain't gonna lie. It'd be kind of fire. I'd be all with it. I'm just saying. I really would be with Soul Ruca when the Women's Royal Rumble. Could I see it happening? Do I think in my brain it's gonna happen? Probably not. But if I ever had something like a wish from afar that I could possibly make happen, besides the Steelers winning the Super Bowl, it would be Soul Ruca winning the Women's Royal Rumble. We have a lot of women who are doing their thing, and hopefully it's time for women's wrestling to get turned up in 2026 and to add more fire to it, add more real storylines, give them something that is on par with the men's, because sometimes the women's matches are a lot better than the fucking men. So let's keep it a being here. And I think for 2026, there's so many people who could win the Women's Royal Rumble. Liv Morgan could win the Royal Rumble. Big Mommy Cool, Raquel Rodriguez could win the Royal Rumble. Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley, Tiffany Stratton, Soul Ruca, Becky Lynch, AJ Lee. There's so many different people who could win the Women's Royal Rumble. So now I want to ask you, if you guys had the pencil, if Triple H came to you and asked you, who do you think should win the Women's Royal Rumble? Who would you pick? There's so many different options, but I want to know you. Hit me up in the comments below. Let me know who you think should win the Women's Royal Rumble and why, and who does she challenge at WrestleMania. Let me know in the comments below. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, it has been your boy D, Forever Gag, and until forever finds you. Peace.